Hello folks, in this video we're going to work on our slides module, not to be mistaken with the sliders module, okay? Now it's probably worth having a little look at homepage offers, because you remember we were saying that the thing we're doing now with the slider is roughly based on what was happening on homepage offers, right? So if we have a little look here, you'll see that the vibe with homepage offers is that we get these offer blocks that we can create, and then we update the associated offers, and this is where each of the offers go. And the vibe is you enter an item ID and it goes in down here, okay? Now with our slides even, it's not quite like that. With slides, the vibe is going to be that you create a slider, right? And then you'll be able to go into a page, and each one of these that we're seeing flashing around the screen is called a slide, and you'll be able to upload a picture, but you'll also be able to optionally declare a target URL and optionally declare alt text. So I think where I'm going with this is that even though we are very loosely based on this type of structure on homepage offers, I think for this slides module, I'm going to just make a new module from scratch, okay? And as a matter of fact, I'm going to make it as generic as possible so that if we ever do need to do something that's kind of similar, then we won't have to sit and search and replace for half an hour like in the last video. Okay, so let us begin. I'm going to find the modules folder. It lives here somewhere. CI shop, here it is. Okay, and we're going to go to the copy this thing, and just like old times, we're going to duplicate and create a new module called slides. Okay, it's called slides. So let's set this new module up. It should only take a few seconds. You know how to do this by now. So we're just starting off by renaming the file slides, okay, and renaming the class slides, and changing the model reference. It's going to be MDL_slides. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. The model file is going to be MDL_slides, okay? And if we head upstairs here, we're just going to set that up, and we'll change the table name. Okay, right, excellent, that's that. Now, this is probably a good time to have a look at the database here. If we have a look at the slides table, it probably looks something like this. So it's probably looking like homepage offers, basically with a different name, okay? So I'm going to do just a few tweaks. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change block ID so that it says parent ID, okay? And this is going to refer to the slider that these different slides belong to, okay? I could have kept it block ID, but I think parent ID is a more generic name, and it's going to make this module a bit easier to tweak and reuse if we ever decide to build something similar in the future. The next thing is we've got a thing called item ID. I'm going to change that, and we'll change it to say target URL, okay? That's going to be a variable character 255. Yes, thank you very much indeed. Finally, we'll add another one in after target URL, and we'll call it alt_text, okay? And that's going to be a variable character of 255. And you know something? I just remembered. Obviously, we need a picture as well, right? That would help. So let's add that in. I almost forgot. Can you believe it? So after alt text, we'll add that in, and we'll call it picture, okay? And we'll make it a variable character. And why not 255? You know, some people have weird picture names, so we might as well make the thing 255. So that's us. And there we go. So we now have a table called slides, and we now have a module that's ready to rock, and that is also called slides. Okay, now let's have a little think about how this is all going to work, okay, before we get ahead of ourselves. The vibe is that people go to this sliders manage and they can create a slider, right? Not to be mistaken with a slide here, folks. When they do so, it takes them here. We have a button that says update associated slides, okay? Now at the moment, this is not much use, so we're going to have to do some work there. But I think I would like it to go to a page that's a little bit like this, okay? I'm looking at manage blog. So something that gives them maybe a preview, or maybe we won't even do a preview, who knows, but something where they can look and see the different slides and whatnot. They'll have an edit button and all that stuff, okay? Now, if you think about the URLs here for just a second, okay? When they click on update associated slides, and when they go to a page that looks like this, and they'll have a button that says create new slide, okay? We are into standard module territory here. You know, so for example, to update, the URL is create/2. To create one, the URL is create without a number in the URL. Do you know what I'm saying? But the challenge we've got is that when we create a slide, we need to somehow remember what slider it belongs to. In other words, we need to know what the parent ID is. So it's no good just going to slides/create. We need some way of being able to know what slider this thing's going to belong to. So what I'm going to do for that is we have a vibe that we made called messages, and we had a nice little button here for create new comment, and you see how it does that and it pops up? That's exactly what we are going to do for this slides thing. So they'll have a button like that, they'll enter a few details, and then that's going to do what it needs to do. So that's the general plan. Does that make sense? Okay, well hopefully it'll make sense when we start building the thing. So if you're ready to rock, then here we go. Okay, so just to help with visualization things and all of that, I'm going to very roughly and very loosely map out this controller. It's similar to what we've been doing in the past, obviously, but there will be a couple of very subtle differences, okay? So the first thing is, where we've got this update associated slides, I'm going to make that link to a thing called update group, okay? And it's going to take in a parent ID. Okay, so that's going to be to update or manage the slides belonging to a parent. Okay, actually I'll say manage records belonging to a parent, because I'm trying to keep this kind of generic. This manage thing is going to display the slides that belong to the slider, and we'll have a button at the top that's going to create one of those modal things, okay? So let's do something for that. I'll do an underscore, we'll make it private, and I'll call it draw create modal, okay? And that's going to take in a parent ID as well, okay? So when they click on that, it's going to bring up a little form. They'll fill out the target URL, they'll fill out the alt text, they'll hit submit, and that's going to be that, okay? Now, when they hit submit, it's going to go to function submit underscore create, okay? So I'll do some comments here. That's going to be the modal for creating new record. I'm trying to avoid saying the word slide so that we don't have to go on a copy and, a find and replace marathon in a future video. So that's good. Submit create, that's going to basically be form has been submitted, try to create new record. Okay, that's what that's going to do. Then we're going to have a thing which I think I'm going to call probably, sure, what do you reckon? Why don't we just call it view? Okay, normally we do view on the public website and all that, I think, but this will be fine here. Okay, so this is going to be view details regarding this record. Okay, so it's going to show the details. Then, now let me have a look at blog entries. I want to just see how that works, because this was good. Okay, so it's going to view the details. Actually, that one. Okay, view the details and display form. Okay, then on view we'll have a thing that's draw image button or something like that. Okay, and that's gonna draw and upload image button or something like that on the top of the view page. So that's what that's gonna do. When they submit a form on view, it's going to go to submit, and that's going to be update the form that has been submitted from view. Okay, sorry, update the record that has been submitted via view, if that makes sense. Thereafter, we're going to have things like upload image and probably delete conf and stuff like that. Okay, so that's basically, we'll worry about the rest later on, but that's our rough map. Does that make sense? It's just a very rough idea of how this thing's going to work. Remember, folks, visualization is 80% of the journey. Okay? Okay, now for this next bit that's coming up here, I have to tell you that I accidentally forgot to switch on the good microphone. Now you are listening to me in the good microphone now. This is an edit. I've came back and I'm saying a few words. I apologise if the sound is not too good in this section coming up. However, I'm going to keep it in because in this next section coming up, it's basically me working as fast as I possibly can, and I'm quite happy with it because I managed to do a nice little bit of coding without any mistakes. So I'm going to just keep this in, and I apologise for the sound. I do hope you can understand this. Okay, so here comes the next section. Alright, now the vibe is, just as a reminder, when people go to sliders manage, they're going to be able to click in and then update associated slides. Okay, at the moment this is going to homepage underscore slides, which is obviously ridiculous. So let's open up sliders create. Okay, sliders, and then it's the view file called create.php, and on that link that says update associated slides, we'll change the URL to slides/update group. Okay, so that's going to take us to this thing here. Now this thing here is going to bear a reasonably close resemblance to the way that this blog manage page works. It's going to be reasonably close. Okay, so let's open up blog, and then we'll go to the function that's called manage, and this is the vibe that we are looking for. I'm going to copy this and take it over to the slides thing like so. Now don't forget, we're changing the name. We're not going to call it manage, we're going to call it update group. Okay, so let's just go through this, make sure it's cool. It does some security, it does the flash ID thing. Now the get statement is actually going to be get where custom, and it's going to get where parent ID is parent ID, like that. Okay, and the view file, we'll call it update underscore group, and that view file is going to live in here, update group. So I'm in the views folder here in slides, obviously. Okay, an update group will be similar to the manage file that lives on blog. So I'm going to copy that stuff from blog manage and paste that in. Now while we are here, let's just fix the indentation, because that, I know that the font's really small, but don't worry, I'm just fixing the indentation here because things like that annoy me. So let me just sort that out. Okay, that's looking good. I'll do the same with this blog manage while we are here. There's no harm in doing a quick tidy up while we're in the neighborhood, okay? So I'm doing shift and tab all the way, and that's pretty good, okay? Excellent, excellent, and excellent. Now let me just close the tabs to the right. We'll make the font a bit bigger so you can see what's happening. And let's go back, and I'm going to refresh this page, and now I'm going to click into update associated slides, okay? So we can see here that it loads up a page. Obviously we have a few tweaks to do, so let's do them now. Now this vibe of update blog, right? Wouldn't it be nice if it had the slider title in here, okay? Now this slider, let's just call it something like, I don't know, summer sale. We'll give it something meaningful, right? So this slider is called summer sale, right? Wouldn't it be nice if the headline said update, I don't know, slides for summer sale or something like that, you know? So let's do that, shall we? Now to do that, I'm going to make up a couple of functions here, and I'm going to keep this really, really generic. In other words, I'm going to avoid using words like slides and sliders and all that as much as I can, just so that we can reuse this in the future. So I'll start off by saying function, why don't we do something like function get parent title, okay? And that's gonna look at a parent ID. Okay, so get parent title, and the way that that's going to work is it's going to say this load module, and in fact let's make this even more generic. Let's just say parent module name equals sliders. Okay, and then I'm just going to say this load module, and then we'll chuck in parent module name, and then I'm going to say parent underscore title is this parent module name, and then underscore get title. That'll do me, okay? So we're going to do that, and then we're going to return the parent title. I'm doing all of this so that we can make a nice headline, okay? I'm going to do another function that's going to be kind of generic, and I'm going to do one that's called underscore get entity name, and it's going to pass in a thing called type. Now I'll leave a note here, and type can be singular or plural, okay? So I'm just going to say that if type is equivalent to singular, then the entity name is going to be slide, okay? Otherwise, so it's obviously plural, in that case the entity name is going to be slides, okay? So I'm going to return the entity name. Look at how generic this is. Look at how, you know, think about how easy this is going to be to reuse this in the future. So that's kind of nice. Now I'm going to do a thing for get. Now we're on this thing update group, okay? So I'll do a thing that's called get group headline, okay? Or get update group headline, right? Something like that. and it's going to take in the parent ID. So what this is going to do is it's going to say parent title is this, get parent title looking at the parent ID, okay, and then it's going to say entity name is going to be this, get entity name, and we're going to get the plural version of this. And then I'm just going to say that the headline equals, now what's the headline going to be? It's going to be something like update slides for parent title. Do you know what I mean? So here we go. So I'm just going to say update, and then we're going to say entity name. So that's going to be slides for, and then we're going to have parent title in here. Okay, so that's the headline, and we're going to return the headline. And in fact, let's make the first letter of each of these uppercase. So UC first, okay, UC first, there we go, and UC first, there we go. Okay, so we've now got a nice headline. Actually, before we forget, let's build this get title thing here, which is going to be on sliders. Okay, we actually have a thing, get slider title, so we can kind of use that. If we just say get title, and it's going to be passing in an update ID as far as this is concerned, and I'm just going to say title is this, get slider title, and we're doing that with the update ID, and we're going to return the title. Okay, excellent. So if we go back to this, you'll see that we've got a thing called get update group headline. We might as well make that private actually, okay? And on this vibe update group, I'm gonna say data headline equals this get update group headline, okay? And it's passing in the parent ID. So when we go to the page itself, we can now just chuck in the headline, okay? So if we do that and hit refresh, it says update slides for summer sale. Is that not fantastic? So we're on the summer sale slider, and to update the associated slides, here we go. It's very, very cool, okay? The next stage is we've got this button here for create blog entry. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to do a vibe that's something like echo modules run, and we're going to do slides / draw create modal. That's the vibe, okay? Draw create modal, and we're going to pass in the parent ID, okay? So we need to pass the parent ID into the view file here. Let's do that just now. Data parent ID equals parent ID, and just as a reminder, we are building a thing, draw create modal, okay? So let's do that. Well, here it's here actually. We've already practically made a start when we mapped this out. Just to test that this is all cool, modal for parent ID. If we just do that and hit refresh, okay, that's why we test things out, you know, that's why we test. Draw create modal, was that right? Slides, draw create modal, yes, yes, yes. Let me do a die statement here. Okay, so something not quite right there. Draw, look, EL, there it is, it's a typo. And there we go. I'm sorry about the typo. I know that you noticed that, and congratulations, that was today's deliberate mistake. Well done. Now this modal vibe is going to be remarkably similar to the thing that's on messages, where we go like this, and we've got this create new comment thing, okay? Very, very similar. you can see from the URL that this is on inquiries view. So I'm going to have a look at inquiries view.php. Okay, so we'll have a little look around here, and as you can see, we've got the button to trigger the thing and all of that, and it lives inside this paragraph here. I'm going to just copy this whole vibe actually. Okay, I'm just going to copy this whole vibe across, and I've copied that, and I'm just going to say data parent ID equals equals parent ID, and then I'm going to say this load view create, and then we've got that modal vibe, and it's going to be passing in a data array as normal. Okay, so in the views here, new file, create modal. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, you know, maybe it's modal, who knows. Anyway, I'm just going to paste this in. It's looking for a form location. Can you see that? It's looking for a form location. So you can either chuck it in upstairs here, or if you prefer, you can chuck it in here like a variable. I'll do this. Okay, so the form location is going to be base URL, and then it's going to go to submit create. Okay, and that is it. That's the form location. So if we go back to the page we were on, here's our vibe. We have a PHP error. Obviously there's going to be a few minutes of tweaking before this all works, so that's cool. Stay cool, we can handle this. Okay, so it doesn't like something on line 2. Let me just see. Right, that's that reply to message. We don't need that, so let's take that out. Okay, and save and refresh. Okay, so we've now got a nice little pop-up. Yes, needs some work, but I think you'll agree this is a pretty good start. I'm going to change this bit at the top here so that it says create new slide. Okay, and here the label is going to say create slide. Okay, and we're going to have a form in here, just an ordinary form. Okay, okay, so that's looking pretty good, and as I was saying, the vibe is we're going to have a nice little form in here. It's going to be fantastic. Now, where have we got a form that's kind of, you know, an okay form that we can use? Any ideas? Probably, I dare say, if we go to something like, that's close enough, you know, inquiries create. Okay, I just need a couple of fields actually. So inquiries / create, and this is the vibe. Just a very simple form field thing. You know, even though this is simple, I can never remember these things. I have to confess, I cannot remember anything. Anyway, let's chuck that in. Let's tidy up like so. Okay, so shift and tab, and that's probably close enough. Okay, and we'll do one down here, and we'll tidy up. Okay, so the vibe is we're going to have target URL, and the value, actually the value I'm just going to keep empty, but the name is going to be target URL. Okay, the next one is going to be alt text. Okay, and you'll have to explain to the client what this means, and they'll be okay, they'll get it, everything's going to be fine. Okay, I think where we've got value, we'll just say something. Well, let me just look at the thing before we get ahead of ourselves here. Let me just have a quick look. So if we refresh, have a look. Okay, so we've got target URL alt text. Let's add in placeholder text here, okay? Placeholder, and I'm just going to say optional, and then we'll just say optional, enter the here. So the first one is going to say target URL, okay, and the next one is going to say alt text. Okay, so save, refresh. Let's have a look. Enter, oh geez, it's not even fitting in here. Sorry about that. Let me just do that. Save, refresh, create new slide. Enter the target URL. Okay, that's cool. Right, that's not too bad. I wonder if we can fit optional in here, can we? Target URL, optional. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I actually like that. So let's just do that. Alt text, optional. And once again, you would explain to the client that what this refers to is the URL. Target URL is the URL that visitors go to when they click on that slide, okay? Might not go anywhere, but it's an optional thing. Alt text, you know what that is. It's to do with the image, okay? Now, if we look at the bottom of this thing, we've got a couple of hidden variables, and what we really want here is the parent ID. Okay, parent ID, that is the vibe. So if we save this and do create new slide, you'll see that everything looks pretty good. I'm not too into this save changes though. I'm going to change that so that it says submit, okay, and we'll just make it a normal submit button. I think that's going to be cool. Name equals submit. Let's just say value equals submit, and type equals submit, okay? So here we go, create new slide, and if we hit submit, you can see, well, it's going to submit create, so the form location's a wee bit dodgy here. I'm sorry, it's obviously slides submit create, okay? So back we go, refresh, and when we enter some stuff in and hit submit, look at the URL, it's going to slides/submit create, okay? Now this is going to be really easy. All we need to do is say target URL is this, input post target URL true. Then we do exactly the same thing with the alt text, like so, okay? So we've now got those two variables, and it actually does not matter if those variables are empty or not. So we don't need any form validation at all, as long as we've added some security, and we can do that by copying these two lines here. Okay, so we'll add in some site security, and as long as we do that, we can just go ahead and do an insert, right? So if we just say data, and then we go something like that, we'll check it out. We can just go this, insert data, and that's the vibe. Okay, so that's gonna insert a record into the slides table, and here is the structure. Oh, I've just remembered we need to do the parent ID as well. Let's not forget the parent ID. So obviously we are posting a parent ID, so let's do that. Parent ID, excellent. So when it submits, then what's it going to do? Well, I think the best vibe is to send it to this view function here. So to do that, we're going to say max ID is this, get max, okay? Pretty straightforward stuff here. And then we're going to redirect and send them over to this view thing, but we'll add on the max ID. Now don't forget that this is obviously happening on slides, okay? So when it's created the thing, it's going to redirect to slides/view, passing in the max ID. So we'll chuck in the max ID here. Again, we'll do some site security, and for the moment I'm just going to say well done. There we go. And we'll just run a quick insert to test this. So I'm going to refresh, create new slide, and we'll say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and here we'll just say X, Y, Z, submit. Okay, so it says well done, and if we browse, you can see that it has inserted the record and everything is good. I'm going to stop here because I do not want this video to go on forever. So we'll take a wee break here and we'll come back to this in the next video.